No hesitation, no questions. Just an invitation. I barely glanced in the mirror before heading out, my body already buzzing with anticipation. By the time I stepped up to the familiar door, my breath was steady, my mind set. I reached for the handle, expecting to see him. The door swung open. It wasn't him. The man standing there was younger. It was his son. "Guess I was right about you," he murmured. I met his gaze and stepped inside. Before we begin, please take a short moment to hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And if you already did, thank you. Watch until the end. I promise you won't be disappointed. Let's jump in. I slid into the back seat of the cab, barely getting settled before he climbed in after me. The door shut, the city lights flashing through the windows. As we pulled away, his hand found my thigh immediately. Warm and firm, fingers pressing just enough to remind me how badly he wanted me. "You can't keep your hands off me for 5 minutes." I teased. He smirked, his grip tightening slightly. "After the way you were looking at me over dinner, you knew exactly what you were doing." I turned toward him, our faces inches apart. What was I doing? His hand slid higher, thumb tracing lazy circles on my skin. Testing my patience, I bit my lip, leaning in close just enough for my breath to warm his ear. "You like it when I do that, though." His fingers dug in just a little, enough to make me gasp. Not as much as I like what happens after the driver cleared his throat. "Where to?" He pulled out his phone, tapped the screen a few times, then spoke without taking his eyes off me. "I'll send you the address." A second later, the driver's GPS chirped and we started moving. I ran my fingers up his arm, slow and teasing. "Good choice." He exhaled like he'd been holding back all night. The tension crackled between us the rest of the ride, his hand never leaving my leg, my body buzzing with anticipation. By the time we pulled up to his house, I was already breathless. He tossed a few bills at the driver, didn't even wait for change. The second the front door shut behind us, he turned to me, eyes dark, hungry finally. And then his lips were on mine. The heat between us hadn't cooled in the cab. It had only grown sharper, heavier. His hands were on me the second the door shut, fingertips tracing over fabric that suddenly felt unbearable. He guided me backward through the dimly lit hallway, his grip firm at my waist. My back met the wall, a quiet gasp slipping from my lips as his breath warmed my neck. His fingers found the zipper of my dress, dragging it down in a slow, deliberate motion. I pressed my palms against his chest, feeling the tension beneath my touch, and tugged at his shirt in return. We barely made it to the bedroom, hands, greedy mouths, urgent. Clothing slipping away between hurried movements. By the time my legs hit the edge of the bed, my breath was unsteady, my body humming with anticipation. The door clicked shut, and then there was nothing but heat. He pressed me into the mattress, lips tracing a path over my skin, his touch both firm and reverent. I arched into him, fingers tangled in his hair, pulling him closer, guiding him. We moved together, slow at first, then faster, our rhythm instinctive. At some point I shifted, pressing my hands to his chest, taking control. His fingers tightened on my waist, his breath uneven, eyes dark as he let me lead. But he wasn't done. His lips curved into a knowing smile before he moved. Flipping me effortlessly, his hands traced down my back, lingering just long enough to send a shiver through me, before pulling me against him again. His movements were deliberate, unrelenting, drawing me deeper into the moment, into him until everything else faded. The tension coiled sharp and unbearable until it finally shattered. Pleasure rippling through me, pulling him along in its wake. For a long moment, neither of us moved, our breaths tangled in the quiet. Then slowly he leaned over, pressing a lingering kiss to my shoulder before pulling me into him. His arm wrapped around my waist, warm, steady, grounding me. As the last tremors faded, my heartbeat slowed, but the satisfaction lingered. Stretching into the silence, I had no idea what time it was. And for once I didn't care. In the morning, the coffee was already made when I stepped into the kitchen. I grabbed a mug from the counter, pouring myself a cup, letting the warmth seep into my fingers as I took a slow sip. Didn't think you'd still be here. I turned at the voice mug still at my lips. He leaned against the doorway, shirtless sweatpants hanging low on his hips. His smirk was lazy confident to knowing for someone I just met. His eyes dragged over me slow and deliberate. Huh, so you're the one keeping my old man busy these days? I swallowed, lowering the mug. And you must be his son that obvious. He stepped closer, grabbing his own cup, his voice dropping just slightly. I gotta say I expected someone different. I raised a brow. Oh. He took a sip, eyes flicking over my legs, bare beneath the hem of the oversized shirt. Yeah, old or boring. His gaze met mine, something unreadable behind it. Definitely not someone who looks this good first thing in the morning. I exhaled a quiet laugh, shaking my head as I set my cup down. You're bold, I'll give you that. Bold, he echoed, tilting his head slightly, or just honest. I held his gaze for a bit longer than I should have, then pushed back my chair. Well, it was nice meeting you, but I should get going. He didn't move, just studied me over the rim of his cup. Shame I was enjoying the view. I let out a small scarf, but I didn't bother hiding my smirk as I turned to leave. Hope I see you again, he called after me. And next time you won't be wearing his shirt? I didn't stop, didn't look back, but I felt his eyes on me the whole way out. The next evening, my phone buzzed. Come over same time. No small talk, no build-up, just direct confident. Exactly what I liked. Less than an hour later, I was stepping out of a cab, smoothing down my dress as I walked up to the familiar front door. But when it swung open, it wasn't him standing there. It was his son. Hey, he said, leaning against the door frame. His smirk lazy figured you'd show up. I raised a brow. Where's your dad? Work emergency, had to leave last minute. His voice was smooth, casual. But there was something smug behind it. Like he was waiting to see if I take the bait. I let my gaze linger on him, unimpressed. Wow, what are the odds? He didn't even pretend to be innocent, right? Silence stretched between us, thick with something unspoken. He didn't move from the doorway, didn't invite me in, but he wasn't blocking me either. I could have left instead. I let out a quiet laugh, shaking my head. You set this up, didn't you? His grin widened. Would it bother you if I did? I stepped past him, brushing against him just enough to make my point. If it did, I wouldn't be here. I heard him exhale a quiet chuckle as he shut the door behind me. Good, he murmured. Because I wasn't planning on letting you leave just yet. I turned to face him, tilting my head slightly. Then stop wasting time. His smirk faltered for just a second, like he hadn't expected me to be so direct. I smiled, then I took another step closer. His hand slid over my waist as I straddled him on the couch, my lips brushing against his. Soft at first, then demanding. He leaned back, eyes dark. Taking me in. You wanted this too. Didn't you? I smirked, running my hands down his chest, nails dragging lightly. What do you think? His breath caught as I shifted lower, my lips tracing a slow path down his torso. He tensed beneath me, his fingers gripping the cushions. Anticipation thick in the air. I took my time teasing him with light, lingering movements, savoring the way his body reacted under my touch. His hands found my hair, fingers tightening. Breath growing uneven as I continued. Just when I sensed him reaching the edge, I pulled away, my lips ghosting over his skin before sitting back up. His head fell back against the couch chest, rising and falling and uneven breaths. You're playing dangerous games. I smiled, taking his hand and guiding him forward, and you love it. Before he could protest, I wrapped my legs around his waist, shifting him lower. His hesitation lasted only a second before he caught on, his hands gliding over my thighs as his lips pressed against my skin. A sharp gasp escaped me as he worked his way deeper into my senses, his grip firm as he followed my every movement. My fingers tangled in his hair, guiding him, keeping him right where I wanted him. The pressure inside me built curling, tightening almost too much. And just when I was about to break, I pulled him up by his hair, breathless, leaving no room for hesitation. He barely made it back onto the couch before I settled over him once more, my hands pressing into his chest as I took control. A shudder ran through him, his fingers gripping my waist as he exhaled a low, ragged breath. I moved slowly, at first setting a deliberate rhythm, letting the tension stretch between us. His hands flexed against my skin, his restraint fraying as I dictated the pace, savoring every second. "Not yet," I murmured, shifting just enough to keep him waiting. His groan was low, his fingers gripping my thighs, barely holding on, faster, deeper. Every movement sent heat rippling through me, drawing me closer, pulling me under. I pushed us both to the edge, my body tightening, trembling, until finally the pressure shattered. Pleasure tearing through me. A deep, throaty groan tore from his lips as he followed, his grip on me turning fierce as he let go, completely sinking into the moment one last time, but I wasn't finished. His body was still shuddering beneath me, his muscles slackening, his breathing still uneven. Too soon. I slipped lower, my lips tracing a path over his skin. Teasing him back to readiness, he let out a sharp breath at the first touch, his fingers twitching in response. "You're gonna kill me," he murmured, his voice rough, still unsteady. I only hummed in response, working him over slowly, effortlessly, pulling him back into the moment. It didn't take long. His breath turned ragged again, his grip tightening as he surrendered to the sensation. This time I didn't wait. I turned, bracing my hands on the back of the couch, shifting against him in silent invitation. A low, shaky breath left his lips as his hands settled firmly on my waist, drawing me back toward him. Slow at first, too slow. I pressed back, meeting him, urging him on, and then he lost himself in it. His hold on me tightened. His movements became more urgent, his rhythm steady and commanding. I felt every shiver, every pulse of pleasure as he led me toward another release. My fingers curled into the cushions, my breath quickening, tension coiling inside me. "That's it," he murmured, his voice thick, strained. I gasped, the heat swelling inside me, tightening, growing unbearable until it snapped. I shuddered beneath his hands, my body trembling, vision hazy. Nothing but sensation consuming me. A second later, I felt him tense behind me, a deep groan leaving his lips as he let go. And then we heard a creak. The door flew open. Some men would call this wrong. Others wouldn't hesitate, be honest. Would you have let her in? Let me know in the comments. I enjoy reading them. And don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed the story. And subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.